Okay, I will let you read the rest of that later. So depending on your various interests, there are a lot of different options and directions that you can go with in this video class. The first option would be art videos.
Здесь они опять ведут диалог, конечно, с историей искусства и обращаются к средневековым гравюрам, в котором эта идея перевертывания была очень важна.
Мы видели школера, который наказывает розгон.
And if you're trying to make people feel something, if you're able to make it beautiful, then they'll sit up and listen.
Window to the Soho Mold Cold Brew
Moments descend on my window pane.
It flew up a river just like this, calmly, disappeared over the canopy. It circled, we could see it in the distance going across the canopy while he was filming.
All of a sudden, the effect, and I knew was gonna be that gravity is not functioning anymore on this strange planet. Flames go downwards instead of upwards in the entire.
Beneath our feet are countless miles.
Can't seem to face up to the facts. Tense and nervous, can't relax.
Piangendo il suo destino, tutta dolente bella.
So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up Adobe Audition. Once you have that open, you're going to go ahead and go to your file and you're going to press open, and you're going to open up the file form that you took from your project with.
Not free to turn separately, one or the other has to slide. So engineers had to find a way to connect both rear wheels to the engine without sliding and slipping on turns. The device which makes this possible is a part of the rear axle. It is called the differential because it can drive.
There is some equipment that you need for this course, and there is some that is desirable if you have that equipment. One would be your own video camera, and you could get a very expensive one, or you could use actually a digital SLR, make sure that it has video capability, or you could even use a lower end video capable camera. If you're into sports or things like that, you might try something like a GoPro, which is a very fun camera to have. Or I suppose most of you probably have something like a cell phone or smartphone. And digital storage, whether you use your own camera or one of our own. And SD is what is preferred. And also a micro SD card for if you have something like a GoPro or something. This is what would be desirable to have for the course. A portable hard drive with a connecting table. You should have minimum of 1 terabyte, hopefully 2. A high-speed USB 3 flash drive. This will be for when you want to move data around, particularly for a PC. The cable for the camera or other devices, like if you do not use an SD card, for any device you have, it'd be good to have a cable for that. One other thing that you would like to have would be a tripod, and if you're rich enough, a fluid head for your tripod. Now, You'll always need buckets of time for this course or for any sort of video production. You need to have some dedication for it and also lots of energy. If you can afford it, you might want a helicopter just to get around, but that's kind of a little bit expensive. You can think of a video as something similar to climbing a mountain where there are a number of different routes to the top. Here there are two main routes we're looking at, and that's the technical aspects of editing video and the compositional, those things that make a video look good. Of course, making a video is not going to be as difficult as climbing arguably the hardest mountain in the world. We will start with the technical applications such as adding motion and special effects to your video. Next in line would be the transform functions. Transitions are a way of moving from one clip to the next, but they're also a useful way of adding different meaning and context to your videos. The software offers you a multitude of ways of working with color, and color is another way of adding meaning and emotional impact to your video. Hi again. I hope this is better. I just adjusted the clock on the camera, so it should be in your time zone, so the sound should come out all right. Yeah.
Sure, I'd be happy to help talk about Premiere and video editing. You have to be patient with me, I'm kind of still in holiday mode, so we can begin with probably just looking at the syllabus, and then, but look, I'm going to have to move somewhere else.
Where it's a little bit more private, things like that. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
Go up that street, going to public water. Wait right.
Using the curves is an excellent way of isolating certain colors and working with them individually. Color keying, or better known as green screening, is an excellent way of adding layers to your video. In the opacity function, there's some excellent compositing tools for adding things like smoke and fire to your video.
I don't attach importance to sunshine anymore, or to glittering fountains, which youth is so fond of. I love the darkness and the shadows.
The burden I must bear, while the cruel scourge I fear, on the land of Virginia, Virginia, ho.
We will now look at what you use those editing tools for, composing the film, making it look and sound good. Much of the look of a film starts with the camera. Here is one of the first habits that people need to get over. Always film horizontally unless you have a very specific reason for doing a vertical video, for example. The first tool in composing a film comes with how you use the camera, beginning with how you establish your point of view.
It'll be a lot easier with that.
That's what it is to be a slave.
How you use the camera can turn you from a spectator into a participant. The frame within the frame is one of the most useful tools in cinema. Pay attention to how the shots range from the close-up to the panoramic.
An experience to live in fear, isn't it?
Not if you step sideways into frame, it doesn't have this kind of enormous power and tension. But if you spiral in it, and it starts with your feet, it starts with this here, and the body follows.
This church remains closed till this town has its opera house. I want the opera house. I want my opera house! I want the opera house! This church remains closed till this town has its opera house! I want my opera house! I want my opera house! I want my opera house!
Yes, Monsieur Gustave. Am I to understand you've surreptitiously hired this young man in the position of a lobby boy? He's been engaged for a trial period, pending your approval, of course. Perhaps, yes. Thank you, Mr. Mosher. You're most welcome, Monsieur Gustave. You're now going to be official.
Think of all the different compositional frames you see in these video clips.
With Ed.
See how these films use changing color palettes to set the emotional tones.
I made a deal with Lips.
Lips? Where is he?
I don't know. Must have left town or something.
Well, that's a coincidence.
My new girl, Breathless Mahoney. Meet Dick Tracy. The servant of the people. Like me. This ain't a break! Keep rehearsing! Get the lawyer.
A half hour, boss.
Tell him it's Flatfoot. He's at it again. He's got no case.
Hello?
Show your face around me again. I guess I thought you were humiliated. You did run away, after all.
I just needed to see you. And another go-round.
Remember me. Try your best. Maybe we can.
Come on, you son of a bitch. Damn, he's slick. Is that the best you can do, creep?
Vuestro hombro izquierdo encontraréis una marca que lo confirma. Por todo el mundo, vuestro verdadero padre hizo abrir...
Without going through this office or having someone in the room. There are a lot of interests in this town. Right now, they're scared of you. The reason they're scared of you, technically, you have veto.
The artist Richard Moss talks about his use of color in his video installation, The Enclave. He also talks about the larger question of how we get people to look at things and why we do that.
I'm planning this summer to show a brand new piece shot in 2012 and 2013. It's titled The Enclave, and it's the culmination of my work in the Congo. And it's shot on 16mm infrared film, color infrared film. It was used primarily as, for camouflage detection, and it was designed in collaboration with the US military in the 40s, early 40s during World War II. And this special technology was able to register infrared light, which is invisible to the human eye. it is reflected off the chlorophyll in green plants, healthy green plants. Thereby, they were able to identify the enemy hidden in the landscape. Kodak discontinued it in 2009. And then I thought, well, where should I take this ludicrously paleted bubblegum pink film? And I thought for a while, and I thought, well, I've never been to the Congo, but we don't really hear anything about this ongoing humanitarian disaster. So in that sense, it's this hidden, unseen problem, this unseen conflict. And so I was fascinated then to bring this film, which registers the invisible, makes visible the unseeable, to bring that to a place which also, it was a metaphoric leap, of course, but it was, in my mind, it was a way of sort of trying to bring these two things together and just see what would happen. My work is not at all a reaction against journalism. Rather, I am an artist working. The first journey we took into the bush in 2012, when we were starting to make the Enclave, was deep into isolated pockets of North and South Kivu. So I became interested in this thing that you can't photograph. It's always the problem for me, the impossible photograph. That's really what's at the heart of my work, really. Trevor Tweeton, who's a very talented cinematographer, and Ben Frost. He's a minimal composer, electronic composer. To edit those scenes together in the 6 screens installation, along with a house, a wooden house being moved by hand through the streets of Goma. And to me, it spoke of internal displacement, fleeing violence, aggressive sort of face-off with the camera, not with you, but with the lens. But at the same time, they were posing. The rebels became very gestural and performative. Of primal importance to me is beauty. Beauty is the sort of one of the main lines to make people feel something. It's the sharpest tool in the box. And if you're trying to make people feel something, if you're able to make it beautiful, then they'll sit up and listen. And often, if you make something that's derived from human suffering or from war, if you represent that with beauty, and sometimes it is beautiful, that creates an ethical problem in the viewer's mind. And this is great because you got them to actually think about the act of perception and how this imagery is produced and consumed. In the Congolese work, I'm not even doing through beauty, I'm just doing through a color, through the color pink. People are so offended by the color pink, it's just a fucking color. Honestly, like, how much more constructed is a pink photograph than a black and white photograph? And Robert Capa was a black and white photographer, man, but we don't see it black and white. But no, that's closer to truth, the capital T. In that respect, it's really about using the potential of contemporary art, the faculty of the sublime, the ability to make visible what's beyond the limits of language, and to bring that to the ethical burden of bearing witnesses to the documentary.
The tone and degree of saturation can also deeply affect your film.
I didn't know you were the Sundance Kid when I said you were cheap.
Those cuts come in.
Lighting is one of the tools used in that elusive area, atmospherics.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears.
to die.
You create the rhythm of the film through the speed of editing.
Kill Phil. Sorry. Grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
Another tool we can use is time-lapse and slow motion. Cuts and transitions can also convey content and meaning.
Une très jolie voix, de très jolies poignets, un très joli front, de très jolis genoux.
Now we come to your first assignment, the language of video, stillness and transformation. For the first assignment, you'll create 2 short videos, the first one without cuts or edits.
Где же мой европеец? Где он?
Нигде не вижу моих.
Ты меня пригласишь, папа?
Теперь ваш черед.
Возьми меня на
А, вот он. Меня не замечает. Ну, надо подойти. А то обидится.
In the second video, you do as many cuts, transitions, special effects as you can. Hi again. I hope this is better. I just adjusted the clock on the camera, so it should be in your time zone, so the sound should come out all right. Yeah. Sure, I'd be happy to help. And then they civilist think they'll still move our they make it was won't be the one the let's not right the issue right it's good I waited in there. Alright, I'm going to do